guys, this is AJ the CEO coming at you with another video, and this is going to be a little bit different. So this is going to be the genesis of doing video announcements. This is kind of a big push that a lot of churches have been doing. In my church, we'll have praise and worship, we'll have the first song going forward, then everything comes to a grinding halt because we have announcements in the middle of service, and the spirit and the atmosphere tanks because it all depends on the type of announcements that are being done. Then another song comes in to rev everybody back up to get everybody back in the atmosphere that was just left behind. And this is one of those things that really doesn't take a lot to do. If anything, the biggest issue that I've had, at least at my church, with video announcements is getting the buy-in. So I'm just going to walk you through kind of the steps and what I've done to actually start doing video announcements. So how do you get started? The first thing that I'm doing in setting up my announcements, which you might want to do too, is assess what is the purpose of your announcements. Is it going to be a super detailed announcement? Is it going to be funny? Is it going to be corporate, professional? You know, what's the theme of what you're doing? So what I'm doing is actually a news broadcast. I'm actually presenting it so that it catch everybody's attention, because the majority of the congregation age is at that age where they watch the news. So that is, I know my demographic, so it's going to catch them and draw them in. I know it has to be a lot of lights and glamour and colors and stuff like that to get everybody, the younger folks, attention. So I start off with that, and mine is going to be a mixture of formal and informal. All right, number two is you need to figure out what you're going to cover in your announcements. When I was talking with my pastor, just from a logistical standpoint and the amount of people who are going to be working this, and mainly right now it's just me, what I want to do is establish something that is I have a workflow for, and it's not going to inundate me with how much time it's going to take to produce. So for me to have video of multiple people standing in front and making announcements, right now that's not a viable option for me because I don't have the people to do it. So what I'm going to be doing is just have still images with me reading the announcements over it. The other thing is you also have to realize, and this goes to item number one, is what type of announcements are you going to do? So because we have so much, the main thing that I'm going to go over in our announcements are the big things that can be played for the entire month. So say you have a series of services, afternoon services, a church meeting, or something like that, something that you want to have everyone in the congregation know about, you know, that's good. Like, I wouldn't really call out our Bible study because we have that every single week. I wouldn't call out choir rehearsal because we have that every single week. I would call out, oh, we have a choir rehearsal, but instead of it being on Tuesday and Thursday, this week it's going to be only on Wednesday. Something like that I would call out. You want something that's big or something that's you really want to draw people's attention to. You don't want to inundate people with a lot of useless information, that's the safest way. I always heard the mind can take what the butt can withstand. So that goes over to item number three. You need to realize how long are your announcements going to be. Me personally, I have locked into where my announcements, no matter what, is going to be set to 3 minutes. And how I sold this on my pastor is that the announcement period is going to be right before service. I'm going to have a countdown clock, and what's going to happen is at the end of 3 minutes, it's going to be a sign for multiple things. And this is Developing Habits, and I'm going to reference a book that I've been learning a lot from, and I might actually talk about that later, The Power of Habits. But anyway, what I'm going to do is have that clock, and when that countdown hits 0, multiple ministries are going to go into action. But first off, that's going to be the cue for the music ministry to start praise and worship. It's also going to be a cue for the media ministry to transition into the live feed of what's going on in the sanctuary. It's also going to be a cue for, this is the habit that we're going to be developing, that our congregation is going to know that now this is the transition into our service. That's the cue and to kick off the routine of everybody knowing what's going to happen next. And also, this will remove the announcement section inside of church that I talked about at the beginning, where everything just tanks and goes to a grinding halt and picks back up. So working with my pastor, I was talking to him that the idea is to completely remove anybody speaking of announcements unless it's something that is so important that it didn't make it into the creation of our announcements. So we need a guest choir to show up at an afternoon service with the pastor, and they just got the word that Sunday morning. Something like that would be only the type of things you would really want to call out. But again, we're helping, and I'm coming in from a background of being music ministry for over 25 years. So we don't want to disrupt the flow of service. So from a media standpoint, we want to enhance the flow of service, not detract from it. All right, so the next thing we want to do is your equipment. Like I say, I'm starting from the standpoint of I'm not really doing any video, I'm just doing voiceovers. So my phone and the audio recorder from my phone is going to be perfectly good for this. And I have other videos where I've said you can use Canva. That's my go-to graphics tool to what I'm going to be using to make these announcements. So because we're using projectors, there's a whole mindset of how you make announcements, and I'll actually do that in a follow-up video, but this is laying the groundwork of it. So we got the tools that we need, which is literally just canva.com and my phone, or a tablet, whatever like that, or you can use your computer if you have a mic for it, or a webcam can do the same thing. I'm just going to go through, and then through our announcements, like I said, I'm only going to highlight the big things that are sticking out. That way, because at this point our announcements are going to be made monthly. These are going to be events that are going to happen throughout the entire month. So that I don't have to keep going over and over. Now I'm going to make each announcement in a section per slide, because I'm going to be using Worship Extreme, Pro Presenter, any of these items. So I'm not going to render an entire video the entire time. So because, for example, if you make announcements for the entire month, but the event is now gone, if you made it into a whole long video, you would have to re-render the whole thing and take that section out. But in Worship Extreme or any of the other presentation softwares, if you have them as a slide with your voice as the background audio, all you have to do is remove that slide of the event that has since been passed. So that makes it easier. And that goes into our software. Like I just said, I'm going to be using Worship Extreme. You can do the same thing with Pro Presenter, Easy Worship, Media Shout, any of those free programs that are out there. Shoot, you can even do this with PowerPoint. But like I said, I'm going to make each announcement into its own slide with its own audio for each one. So if an event is over, all you have to do is disable that slide in whatever program that you're using, so that you're not repeating an announcement that's gone past. Like, you're still seeing that right now. You're seeing commercials on TV about the New Year's Day sale at blah blah Honda, and that's what we talk about. You need to manage your digital footprint. That's small, but that's a level of detail that shows that you care about the small things. The next thing is, after you do that, put the whole thing together and just do it. Do it so that because you will never get any better without trying it. So start it initially. Maybe you want to prototype this and just beta test it or whatever, and just show it just to your pastor or to a small group of people. Or like me, I'm gonna start this at the beginning of our worship service, because we already have a tradition of just playing slides that I've made. The only difference is now it's going to be audio going along with it. Do a communication with our music ministry to let them know that when they come in, when this starts, there is no warming up on your instruments. There's no anything to detract from people being able to see the announcements. So that's kind of the genesis and my mindset of what I'm doing to actually do my video announcements, and I will take you along with this whole journey on how I'm doing this and how I'm making each one of those steps that I did. So make sure you check in and check out my next videos when we go through this process. So again, I hope y'all like this content. If you do, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing, because we come out with more videos like this to help grow your media ministry. And make sure you share this content, and as well, if you're a subscriber, hit that bell notification. That way you get notified and you won't miss out on the next video in this series of making church video announcements. This is AJ the CEO. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you in the next video.